Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Tuesday, April 5th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Great archives at the top of the page, some great old television history and some JC history there too, and also eye candy. Along the bottom of the page, we just pinned the meter yesterday with this Stephen Colbert appearance on Jimmy Fallon on Friday night, where Taylor Hicks comes out and a bunch of synchronized dancers, and they start doing the Friday song. I'm not surprised that you guys loved it. And we try to find good stuff for you every day. And we got another good one for you right here today on Eye Candy. We'll get to that in just a minute. Well, let's go to the news here. Arnold Schwarzenegger announced that his new Governator character, you think I'm kidding, I'm not, is going to be turned into an animated movie. Because I'll tell you, if there's one thing little kids love, it's state politics. The Kardashian sisters' mom, Kris Jenner, is writing her memoir. It's the sweet story of how one woman battled the odds to successfully raise three whores. Fox announced to plan, they're going to launch a Spanish language cable channel. The channel will consist of Glenn Beck going on and tell the Mexicans all the way go back to Mexico. And former Oklahoma State basketball player Darrell Williams is going to be tried for rape. If convicted, he'll be drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, got some scoop for you here today. You know, we were down in Jupiter, Florida about 3 weeks ago with the St. Louis Cardinals. Actually, now it's actually more like a month, almost 5 weeks ago, come to think of it. Boy, time marches on. So I'm just sort of traipsing around, and we're down there. Obviously, you're trying to get interviews with the players, and you're trying to just sort of scope out, what looks interesting, what doesn't look interesting. For example, I've been telling people since I was down there, watch the F out for Kyle McClellan. I've often wondered if Kyle McClellan actually has the talent and the ability to be a successful starting pitcher in this league. What I've never questioned, though, is his intestinal fortitude, his desire to do it. He said it's been his dream to try to be a starter at Busch Stadium. Well, he gets his shot tonight. And when we were down there, I told everybody, I said, man, you look at this guy, and he looks like somebody who has heard all of the people who say he can't do it, and that he is on a mission to prove them wrong. That's really cool. So we try to scope out all this sort of stuff. And I remember telling you that stuff from Florida when I was down there. Watch out for Kyle McClellan. Let's see how he does tonight. One of the things that we did run into down there in terms of news and information was 60 Minutes correspondent Bob Simon. And this guy does a lot of international politics stuff. Matter of fact, the weekend we were down there and saw him down in Jupiter, Florida, hanging around. I came back to the hotel, turned on 60 Minutes, and he was up at the North Pole with polar bears, getting really close-up, high-definition video of polar bears. So this guy's out of the country a lot. Anyhow, long story made short, we knew that Bob Simon had been following Albert Pujols around for the last couple of months, down at the Dominican Republic and then back here in St. Louis, and he told me they were going to be here for opening day. Well, barring any sort of major news development, which could potentially bump the piece, and we should have positive confirmation on this tomorrow, Thursday at the absolute latest. But anyhow, it looks like that piece is going to run this Sunday. All right, so the piece on Albert Pujols is scheduled right now, and I just talked to CBS this morning, and they say, well, it's not 100%, but it sure looks like it. It'll air if there's no major news story that they have to throw something out at the last minute. So, like if another nuclear reactor blows up or something like that, then they got to rush a piece onto the air in time for Sunday. So if there's no huge thing to preempt it, you will see that Albert Pujols piece on 60 Minutes and correspondent Bob Simon this Sunday. Okay, now, Justin Timberlake. I tell you, this guy gets around. Justin Timberlake may now be dating Olivia Wilde, which is going to come as very sad news if you're Jessica Biel, Olivia Munn, Scarlett Johansson, Kate Hudson, Mila Kunis, Cameron Diaz, Alyssa Milano, Stacey Flood, Kylie Minogue, Rihanna, or Amanda Seyfried. Boy, as I said, gets around. Keanu Reeves says that there is a Bill and Ted sequel in the works. And we're interested in that around here because Alec Winter is from University City. He's a great guy. He was in both of those Bill and Ted movies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in '89 and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey back in 1991. One character that will have to change is George Carlin because he's dead. He played Rufus, their mentor from the future in both of the original movies. All right, the Farrelly brothers just won't go away. Farrelly brothers, these guys who made Something About Mary and a bunch of other movies like that, Shallow Hal. I don't like most of the Farrelly brothers' work. I think it's vulgar and just unnecessarily guttural and just stupid and pointless. I know I'm in the minority, I think. I don't know. So a couple of years ago, it's got to be 2 or 3 years ago now, we started hearing these rumblings. The Farrelly brothers are going to do a Three Stooges movie. And it's like, it's a terrible idea. And originally they had Benicio del Toro playing Moe, Sean Penn playing Larry, and Jim Carrey, of all people, playing Curly. You just look at Jim Carrey, you're like, how in the, it just didn't make any sense. So one by one, each of those three people had sort of flaked off. Then they weren't going to do the movie. Now they're saying they are going to do the movie, and some guy by the name of Will Sasso is going to be in the movie, and he's going to play Curly. And up until now, there's been no word about Moe, but now we're hearing that Sean Hayes from Will and Grace is going to play Larry. It's a terrible idea. I wish they would just, I don't know. All right, another terrible idea was putting Katie Couric in charge of the CBS Evening News. It's been a bust. They're in last place. I think they made critical marketing errors, if nothing else. You know, Katie Couric is actually a very solid reporter when she gets right down to it. She was the Capitol Hill correspondent. Tim Russert actually was the guy that sort of morphed her from being a local television reporter in Washington to being a network correspondent. Tim Russert, you know, that's pretty solid stuff there. You know, Tim Russert was, you know, one of those sort of, you know, part of the whole gold standard in political journalism for a long time before he passed away a couple of years ago. But when they introduced Katie Couric, I just think they did it all wrong. They had video of her in the promos sitting in what looked like a corner office up in the executive offices somewhere, and she's wearing a nice dress and pearls, and she's up there by herself. And I'm thinking to myself, that is the exact opposite of the way they should have marketed her. They should have had her sleeves rolled up, shown her in the newsroom, running around with wire copy, with people running around all over the place, you know, reinforce the idea that she's not, you know, some cutesy little cupcake from the Today Show who used to dress up on Halloween, and instead get the point across that she's a serious journalist, and they just didn't do it. And I think the thing was doomed right from the beginning. And we started talking about this, oh God, it's got to be over a month ago, talking about the fact that, you know, when her contract is up in June, that she was going to be leaving the CBS Evening News, do a talk show, do a syndicated talk show. Oh, shush up. See, I hate when my computer does that. It just starts talking for no reason whatsoever. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything. They got to stop doing stuff like that, because that really pisses me off. I'll tell you what else they're doing. If you've been watching the ball game on the cable and satellite, you know, it's like, okay, we'll be right back after this. The score is 3-2. Cardinals coming up to bat next. And then the commercial comes on, and it's like 5 times louder than everything else that you would listen to. You have to lunge for the remote control. I got a little baby. You know, we put the baby to bed, and then sometimes you're watching the ball game, and the commercials will, like, rattle windows. Now, that is going to be illegal very soon. Sometime, I think it's the latter part of this year, a law was actually passed forbidding cable and satellite operators, or anybody for that matter, for blasting the commercials. It used to be illegal, and then somehow it became legal again, and now at least somebody got on that. But boy, is it annoying. It's more than annoying. It really pisses me off. And, you know, just because the law isn't taking effect until later on this year doesn't mean that these cable and satellite operators, and even the local stations like Fox Sports, you could turn down the volume if you wanted to. You could do it. You could do it now. You don't have to wait till the law kicks in. Why don't you go ahead and do it now, okay? Do it now. Anyhow, back to the Katie Couric story. It looks like it is actually going to happen. She's going to step down, do a syndicated talk show, maybe be a 60 Minutes correspondent, and we'll just see about that. All right, new on video today, Tron Legacy, also Little Fockers, I Love You, Philip Morris, and Casino Jack, again, St. Louis boy, George Hickenlooper, who died tragically a couple of months ago. This was his last movie. Kevin Spacey playing Jack Abramoff, Kelly Preston in the movie too, and John Lovitz, formerly of Saturday Night Live. That's probably the weak link in the movie. I love John Lovitz, but he's in way over his head, but I really like this movie a lot. The opening 2.5 minutes of this movie, it's one of the great opening scenes in a movie that I've seen in the last decade. So check it out, Casino Jack, Kevin Spacey, very good performance, good story too, and it will continue to rattle your belief in the integrity of the United States government, I'll tell you that. Also new on DVD today from the TV world, Sarah Palin's Alaska, Season 1. This sounds like something out of an Olsen Twins movie, but Jose Canseco is probably going to get sued because he was supposed to take part in some boxing match in Vegas, and he sent his twin brother to fight instead. What a knucklehead this guy is. I love this because this is one of those stories where all you really have to do is the headline. You don't even need the rest of the story, just the headline, and here it is. A guy fell out of a tour bus and died after going on a brewery tour. Police believe alcohol may have been a factor. You think? And then Kirstie Alley last night at Dancing with the Stars, her partner is trying to dip her, and his leg just gives out because she's such a cow. It's not clear whether it happened because of Kirstie's weight. That's what it says here. All right, let's go here. 1987 on this date was the debut of the Fox network, by the way. They started with Married with Children, Tracy Ullman Show, and, of course, The Simpsons came along later. All right, JC's Eye Candy today because we just cannot get enough of the Friday song, much like the Stephen Colbert thing. And if you didn't see this from the Jimmy Fallon Show Friday night, it's on Eye Candy. If you missed it yesterday, go back and look at it. But today, Conan O'Brien checks in on the whole Friday phenomenon. You can check that out on JC's Eye Candy. All right, that's it. We start our baseball season tonight. I know the Cardinals are playing, but so are we. Playing at C&H up in St. Peter's tonight at 6:45. JC working the bump. First baseball game of the season. We'll probably play 25, 30 games this year, and the old soup bone is ready. The old soup bone is ready. That's it. JC's Daily Dose for Tuesday, April 5th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.